Hi, welcome to Solid Rock Christian Assembly. My name is Hina, where our vision is to build a community-oriented, multicultural church that is solid in the Word and in the practice of our faith. We're here to dig into the Word, and we invite you to join us and to grow with us at the Rock.
Solid Rock welcomes you.
And at this time, Solid Rock, I want us to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Clarence Duff, as he comes to minister to the fathers. Dr. Duff.
Thank you. Thank you for such a warm welcome. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the house and even fathers to be. Today is a special day, and it's about fathers. And so I'm expected to speak about fathers and to fathers. And therefore, I bring to you a thought, and it's a very simple one: the importance of fatherhood. Most creatures, including humans, after they have produced a young one, the offspring stays with a parent for some time. Sheep, donkeys, goats, cows, the offspring stays with them for some time. But there are no creatures on the earth, after giving birth to an offspring, that the offspring stays with the parent for several years. The human child, the human parent. The offspring stays at your home for many years. In the teens, some in the 20s. So then it begs the question, what is the goal of parenting? And the goal is to empower our children into adulthood, to give them the wisdom and the experience they need to take their place in this world and to be who they were meant to be. Men play an important role in the parenting of children. When women selects men, one of the last things they consider is that man's ability to be a good father. They choose a man because he's handsome. He has a good job. He drives a nice car, come from good parenting. Sometimes that is even ignored. But the last thing in a woman's mind is whether or not this man is capable of being a good father. A man might be a good husband, a great husband, but a lousy father. Some men can be good fathers, but lousy husbands. They're two different tasks, and they do not overlap. I want to propose to you that fatherhood matters. It matters. In the past, not much research has been done on fatherhood and the effect of fatherhood on children. A lot of research has been done on motherhood and their role in shaping the lives of children. But over the past 10 years, a number of research has been coming out about the fatherhood. At first, it was thought that men didn't have the nurturing skills and ability. And so when a divorce occurs, the parent that usually get the children is the mother. But there's a shift now in our society. because we recognize that men do have nurturing ability. So, why then is fatherhood so important? There are many reasons why fatherhood is important, but I'm going to list three reasons. I'm going to leave with you three reasons why fatherhood is so important. It's a defining capacity, a defining task that is given to men and not to women. I was growing up in a single mother home. My father was a distant person, never knew what it meant and what it meant to have a father in my life. And I was the only boy among three girls, and the last one. And when I look back on my experience, I discovered something. When I got married, I was 26 years old. And for about a month, I know what it means to be a man, but what it means to be a husband and a father, that's completely different. Because I had no model. And for about a few months, my wife wondered if I made a mistake, because I didn't know how to be a husband, much more a potential father. I had a great mother, but a mother cannot be a father to a child, especially a boy. And when woman tries to be the father of a boy, particularly, two things can occur. He becomes subjugated or he breaks out. I have a young boy that told me that he couldn't hug his mother. He could hug his father because his father was soft, but his mother was tough. And so he couldn't find himself embracing his mother because she was too tough. Because the father didn't live at home, and she'd have only boys, and she had to, when you have boys, you have to be tough. And she tries to play the role of a father at the expense of the boys not being able to relate to her as a mother. There's a reason why God gave two parents. And once we understand the roles of these, we fit better in it and function more effectively and raise more healthy children. The first reason why fatherhood is so important, because it defines a man's purpose in life. It defines a man's purpose, what he was meant to be, what he was meant to do, his ultimate task in life. When God created male and female, he equipped their bodies and their minds to function in specific ways, to create life after their own self. Only the man possessed the capacity to bring a boy into the world. God fit him with the appropriate chromosome to determine the sex of a child. But that's not all. God fit his mind. Well, it's not automatic, really. There's some things he has to learn. And if he doesn't learn those things, what it means to be a man and his purpose in life, he will compromise the life of the offspring that he produces. Becoming a father establishes new meaning and purpose for men. The moment a man looks in the eyes of his child, it's supposed to change his perspective. It's a shift in who he is. It's a shift in how he sees himself. It's a shift in the meaning he gives to life. when he suddenly realizes that he's a father. He's not just a man. He's not just a male. He's not just a sperm donor. He is a father. And that brings new purpose, new meaning to life. You have a plant seed. And you put it in a jar. You put it in your cupboard. It stays there. It never fulfills its purpose. But you take that plant seed and you bury it in earth and give it water and expose it to sunlight. And that plant seed has the potential to become a plant. And that plant has the potential to be a fruit. And that fruit tree has the potential to become in a forest. But you cannot see a forest if you can't see a seed. And the seed, though it has potential, that potential can be stifled because it was never planted. When a man produces a child, he must see that he has produced a generation. Because from his loin will come many more. And how he fathers this child will determine many generations after him. So the task of fatherhood given by God to man is very important. It defines his purpose. It charts the direction he must take once he becomes a father. We're not meant to be just sperm donors as my father was. Had it not been for my mother, thank God for the mothers, single mothers in the house who struggle with their children. See, when I was a young boy, because I grew up with girls, I didn't look the way I look now. My hair didn't. At 14, my mother was praying hard for me because of the company. My mother tried to be very tough because she didn't want me to break out. But I didn't experience the softness of my mother. I experienced her toughness. And that pushes me in a more rebellious ways. To friends who recognizes, oh, you are the man. Never heard that from a father. I never heard a father say to me, son, you have become a man. And these are the responsibilities that you must assume. My friends tell me, you are the man. And I believed. And almost went astray. Had it not been for two old ladies who said to me, we're having a crusade down by the church. Can you just pass by? And reluctantly, I dropped by. And that was the beginning of a new life. In fact, when I went to church, the way I dressed, the way I speak, like the street, hi man, thank God for saving I. That was my first testimony. And the pastor said to me, son, you got to change the way you speak. Had it not been for the pastor who was a father figure, I don't know where I would have been. So fatherhood is important. It defines a man's purpose in life. Work becomes more meaningful. You ask a man, a father, on his job, why he's working so hard. And it goes back to his children. Everything he does, when he extends himself into the workforce, he's thinking of his children. A good father thinks, before he buys a brand new car, he thinks of his children. He finds purpose in the things he does, and that purpose defines him as a father. he drives more carefully when he becomes a father. That's why the insurance is less. And higher when he's not a father, because he takes more risk. But the moment he recognizes that he has a child or children at home, he takes more care in how he drives and how he does things. He has a purpose for which to live. This man, it changes a man, his outlook on life. And a man who doesn't change and shift in perspective will never be a good father. He pays more attention to life, to the things he does, because now he is more than just a man. He's a father. Something more is added to his life. Something more has defined who he is. He's not just a son. He's not just a man. He's not just a lover. He's not just a spouse. He is a father. And that brings a whole new meaning to his life. Not only does it set new purpose for the man, it determines his identity. His identity, who he is, not just what he does, but who he is connected to his children. Now, it has been believed that when a divorce occurred, it's the woman who feels most of the pain. And the man just go on to his merry way, pick up another woman, or as the case might be. But what we are recognizing now, that is far from the truth. A man's identity is connected to his fatherhood. And what we are seeing now, when a divorce occurs, a man tends to lose its sense of identity. Most men feels like they have failed in their fatherhood, especially when they are not able to see their children and to care for the children as much as they want to. Now, this doesn't speak for all men, because some men don't care. Some men are just biological father, but that's all it is. So we're not speaking of the sperm donors. We're speaking of men who have become fathers and have connected their sense of being to their children. When they lose that fatherhood in their home, it affects their sense of self. And some men lose their way. They try to find it with different women, gambling, drinking. And even many in church lose their sense of purpose in church. They find they don't function as well because they have lost that sense of identity. Who they are as a leader, who they are as a model has been compromised. They feel they cannot function the way they need to function because of the disruption in their fatherhood capacity. So he shapes a man's identity, who he thinks he is. Because the moment you become a father, your identity shifts. You're no longer the guy. It changes how you see life, how you see yourself, how you define who you are. It's important. It shapes you as a leader. A leader is one who models the way. When a boy sees his father fixing a lock, he will try to do the same thing. A father is a model. He sets the tone in what his son becomes. Most boys will become what their father becomes. I remember when my children were very young, I used to study a lot, read a lot. Every day you see me, I'm reading. I love to take the bus because I could read. Could bring my book with me and I could read. And I'm at the bus stop, I'm reading. I'm at the subway, I'm reading. One day, my son and his girlfriend came over to the house, and his girlfriend was sharing with his sisters how my son was. That everywhere he goes, he takes a book. He takes the bus, he has a book. He's in the subway, he has a book. His sisters said that's exactly how his dad is. I didn't know he was watching. I didn't know that he was copying. I had no idea. But my behavior helps shapes the boy. Unconsciously, what he does. So how a father operates, how a father treats a boy's mother is shaping how the boy will become. So fathers has a responsibility to be a leader, to be a model, because your children automatically follow your lead. They become who you are, what you have displayed before them. If a father loves the children's mother, it sets the foundation for his children to love their spouses and to treat them well. Because that's modeling the home. The home becomes the foundation. The learning environment begins at the home, not in the school. You don't learn to be a father at school. There are no courses that says, this is how you become a father. Well, we learn biology, how a man become a father, but just as a biological father. It's in the home that the tone is set. The character is built. And the boy gets his identity. The nation that has the least incarceration is the Jewish community. A boy is in prison. You know why? Because when the boy reached 13, the father tells him he has become a man. And he must assume man's responsibility. A father's job is to tell his son, boy, you have become a man. And when the boy knows he has become a man, he knows what a man needs to do, how he cares for a woman, how he cares for his sister, how he cares for his mother. The tone is set because now he's recognized, he's given an identity. I didn't know that. No one sat me down and I didn't see that. I grew up with female. I didn't see that. I didn't have a father to take my hand and say, boy, you have become a man. And so when I was in my teen, my mom was still calling me a boy. You didn't know when you become a man. And so when your friends tell you you're the man and you don't know who you are, you lose a sense of identity. Fathers are important. It matters. Now, fatherhood matters because it influences every area of a child's development. In Genesis 1:26-28, it says, and God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. God made only two people. He didn't make a nation. He made two people. Two beautiful, perfect in body individuals. He put in them the seed to produce offspring and to care for those offspring so that they could become adults. So they were given the responsibility to influence every area of their children's life. The mother has her responsibility, and the father has his responsibility to shape the children. And the father has influence over his daughter and over his son in different ways. A man influences his daughter profoundly, and he influences his son significantly. And I'm going to show you how. So when the father does not do his job correctly, he compromises the future of his children. So, God has established the order. And when that order is broken, chaos reigns. And the institutions in the world is not able to fix the problem. We begin to fix it and to enforce it in our churches because we have the manual that tells us how a father needs to be. It is a woman's greatest joy when she finds a good husband and a good father in the same man. If you have such a man, treat him well. Give him double honor. A man who loves and sacrifices for his children when he works 3-4 jobs just to ensure his children gets ahead. And when he comes home, he loves his wife. He treats the mother with respect and honor. If you have such a man, you need to treat him with double, triple honor. And make sure he keeps healthy and serve you for years to come. Because God don't make them that way much anymore.
Thank you for joining us at The Rock. I hope you've been inspired and fired up to know that God will always be by your side. He will always provide the fire for you when you call on his name. We invite you to join us for our Sunday services, and you can visit our YouTube channel for more videos or our website, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you again at The Rock.
Solid rock welcomes you.